Good evening, all. How's everybody doing this evening? It's Education Week here at the Rogers White House, and we've been talking a lot about education reform. One of my key plans that I've been advocate for a long time is the Back to Basics program, which ensures that we're teaching the ABCs, the one, two, threes, the good, the bad, the ugly of history. One of the things that I'm deeply concerned about, and I was visiting a school just the other day, is the knowledge of our students when it comes to government and social studies and how our country operates. And that's what the Back to Basics program essentially is. It is essentially teaching our students, starting with arithmetic, starting with math, and emphasizing government. In a lot of states, social studies is not part of the standardized testing program. I think it should be, because with that, a good knowledge, a good basis in social studies, you become a more productive citizen, and I want to see that. I want to see that take place. And tied into that would be the school nutrition program. That would be tied into Back to Basics as well. Just look at the stats. Just think about this. There are over 13 million U.S. children facing food insecurity and lacking constant access to nutritious food. The free lunch programs that we have throughout the country provide at least one healthy meal daily, addressing hunger and supporting child well-being. And I think the most important thing that is part of this child nutrition is that the hunger it hinders focus in learning nutrition. It's crucial for success. We have breakfast and lunch programs throughout our country. This year, unfortunately, due to the budgets and the changes going on in the federal government, those programs are not free. It's costing the average student $4 a meal to eat at school. And I think that is wrong. I really think that's wrong, because we need to have nutritious meals available for our students so that they can tackle their job. And they do have a job. I mean, if you think about it, this is their first job. When they're at school, they are actually learning a trade, and it's their job to learn not only a trade later on in high school, but get the basics down, the core knowledge down. So I think this $4 on the average, around a $4 per student price for meals is too excessive. What I want to see under my administration would be to bring back the free breakfast and school lunch programs in our country, and also improve the nutrition guidelines, improve the menus. I understand these menus have not been changed since the days of First Lady Michelle Obama, so it's time for a change. And I would task the First Lady to go out and start designing, and with help, designing a more nutritious school lunch program. And you think about it, by doing this, by getting more appetizing meals to students, it's going to improve our academic performance. Well-nourished kids, they show better concentration, memory, and test scores. When we do this, when they do the standardized testing, the big ones in the spring, obviously. But one of the things they talk about is getting a good balanced meal the night before, get plenty of rest. Well, a lot of times, uh, our students are in a situation where they can't get that balanced meal, and your school is a lifeline for that. So I don't see how we could uh, one, cut this program back so much to, to what it is now, and two, charge our parents for on the average, it's a rough average around $4 a meal. You know, and the other thing about this is uh, nutritious school lunches. They help reduce reliance on cheap, unhealthy food options. Um, Low-income families often lack access to fresh foods, increasing the obesity rates throughout the country. And the free meals will foster healthy eating habits for life. Really, really, in those years in school, that is where your good habits are formed, and a good nutritious habit could be formed there in school. I think the biggest thing too is our low income families. There are a lot of families that are out there that are on a tight budget. Um, and school lunch costs strain those tight budgets, forcing families to prioritize between essentials. And it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have to figure out what's important. I mean, obviously you know what is important, but you should be able to support them all. Support them all. The free lunch program definitely eases financial stress and reduces the stigma, ensuring no child feels singled out. Uh, and universal programs throughout the entire country would promote equality and inclusion. And also think about this too. Uh, the free meals would incentivize regular school attendance. Um, Reliable meals reduce dropout risk and strengthen school connections. And the biggest thing is a welcoming environment. A welcoming environment keeps students engaged. You know, and I think one of the biggest things we're facing is hunger. Hunger disproportionality that impacts marginalized communities, perpetrating poverty. Free lunch free lunches provide equal access to nutrition, narrowing opportunity gaps, and investing in kids fosters a more equal, equitable society. And there are long-term benefits to this as well. Healthy kids become more productive adults, reducing healthcare and social service skills. Better education outcomes lead to higher earnings and stronger communities. Free lunches break the poverty cycles and improve public health. Now we get down to the important parts of this. The cost. How much it would cost. Right now, the folks are saying it would cost between 12 and 15 billion dollars annually, uh, based on the current National School Lunch Program data, enrollment figures to pull this program out. So how would we offset that? How would we go about paying for this program without having the burden of the lunches fall upon the parents? Well, here's how we would go about doing it. Reallocate existing funds. We'd redirect portions of the federal and state budgets, at least on the federal side, such as agricultural subsidies or administrative overhead, to prioritize school meals. We would expand USDA reimbursements for school meals, leveraging existing infrastructure, um, like the school lunch program. And we also would welcome businesses and nonprofits to sponsor meals or donate supplies, reducing costs. You know, you heard about me talking about the tax plan, about how folks who have done well and can give back to their community and get that as a tax break. I can see this as a plan too, that you are successful, And I mean, that's great. That's the American dream. That's what we all aspire to do. You are successful, but then there's no better feeling, I believe, than to give back to one's community. And this would be a great plan. It would get your name out there, and also would give you a little bit of a tax break as well. Um, and of course, obviously, we would centralize food procurement in preparation to lower meal costs. We can improve that quite well. The return on investment. Every dollar, every dollar spent on school meals yields between $3 and $6 in long-term economic benefits through better health and productivity. So that's basically in a nutshell where this program is. And I fully believe in a fully subsidized school lunch program. My administration would do everything within its power to see that it happens. There were a lot of things that were done under Doge that I don't agree with. The cuts, like the cuts of the Department of Education, DOE. I wouldn't have eliminated that department. I would have redesigned it to more of a charter school focus. We need these departments. It may look good on paper to cut away $1 million here, $1 billion there, but first of all, we've got hungry people in our country that we need to take care of. And then we've got kids, students that we have to educate. And if you educate them properly, if you give them a good education, there's your return on investment. There's your return on investment right there. They can make that huge salary, that great job, and then they can give back to one's community. One of the schools I visited, I visited a lunchroom in school, and the kids were eating lunch there, and I was telling them that the school was preparing them for the future. This school very much believes in preparing their students for future and jobs and careers. And the cafeteria is treated like a restaurant, and so the focus there is to treat them as if they're in a restaurant, a high-dollar restaurant, and get them ready. Because one day, if they get the education that this school provides, or not only this school district, but other schools throughout the country that provides, and they do well, they will be at those high-dollar restaurants and having those nice meals in those restaurants. So there's nothing saying we can't do that. I just think we need to prioritize the school lunch program, and I'm very much advocate for reinstating the free lunch program, and that's the plan I had for that. But thank you guys very much. Thank you.